How did Ben Tennyson, ordinary kid and not so ordinary wielder of the Omnitrix, go from this?
Thanks, partner.
Don't mention it.
But I just did.
And we're not partners. I work alone now.
To this.
After what we just saw, sitting around sipping smoothies seems a bit
Mundane.
In this episode, we're going to find out. That's right, today I'm covering the entire story of Ben 10 Omniverse, from start to finish. Let's get right into it. If you've somehow never heard of Ben 10, a franchise spanning 5 animated series over nearly 20 years, you're probably going to need a little bit of context. Ben 10 Omniverse is the 4th series in the Ben 10 franchise and the final series set in the classic continuity. Now, meet Ben Tennyson. He was an ordinary 10-year-old until he stumbled upon the Omnitrix, a powerful watch-like device that allowed him to turn into 10 different aliens, hence Ben 10. Ben 10 Omniverse begins when Ben, sometimes referred to as Ben Prime, is 16, and he's collected a lot more alien DNA for his Omnitrix since then. The Omnitrix was created by Azimuth, an elderly Galvan alien and the smartest scientist in the galaxy. Sorry. The smartest scientist in 5 galaxies. He has to correct people on that a lot.
You're the smartest guy in 3 galaxies?
5, actually, but who's counting?
Next up is Grandpa Max, the greatest plumber in the entire Milky Way galaxy. Oh, sorry, not toilet plumbers. These plumbers are an intergalactic law enforcement organization, created to protect Earth from various alien threats. You'll often see Grandpa Max with Gwen, Ben's superpowered cousin, and Kevin, Gwen's superpowered boyfriend. Rook is a new character to the Omniverse series, hired by Max to be Ben's partner after Gwen left for college. Rook is a lot less freewheeling than Ben, but they grow to have a mutual respect for each other. Rook is from the planet Ravana, and doesn't understand a lot of metaphorical Earth expressions, so he gets confused from time to time, but otherwise he's like an encyclopedia of knowledge. There's a ton of other characters we could get into, but that should cover you for now. Let's dive in. The first episode of Season 1 is titled The More Things Change Part 1. The pilot kicks off with an 11-year-old Ben as forearms against a mechamorph named Malware. Ben transforms into Feedback and defeats Malware with ease, but something tells me Malware won't be gone for good. Ooh, a self-butt kicking. Those are rare. 5 years later, Ben, Kevin, and Gwen win a battle with Zombozo. Gwen and Kevin tell Ben that they're moving away from Bellwood. As Gwen skipped a few grades to attend college, Ben's disappointed but vows to fight the bad guys as a solo act. Ben meets up with Grandpa Max in the secret plumber's base, but an alarm goes off before they can chat. Ben tracks down the problem and finds Crabdozer. He tries to turn into Humongosaur to fight it, but turns into Spider Monkey instead. Even superheroes get annoyed by new tech upgrades. After the fight, a small alien named Pac-Mar tells Ben that there's a gang blackmailing alien shops. Ben tries to go undercover to catch the alien trio, but he attracts a little too much attention as Cannonbolt. Ben is outmatched in the 3-on-1 alien fight, but Rook, a plumber sent by Max to be Ben's new partner, helps him tag team the gang of criminals. Rook is, well, a rookie, and super by the book. So he rubs Ben the wrong way right off the bat. Ben makes it clear that he doesn't want a new partner. But Rook continues on with him regardless. He and Rook work together to dispose of the bomb, but the alien gang escapes. Ben and Rook run after them and discover a secret city named Undertown. Kyber, a mercenary who dubs himself the greatest huntsman in the galaxy, has been watching this whole thing from afar super creepily. He sends his pet in after Ben and Rook. The second episode of this two-parter is titled The More Things Change Part 2 and picks back up in the city of Undertown. Ben reiterates to Rook that they are not partners, while they chase down the alien gang. Kyber, meanwhile, tracks Ben with his pet in an underground transit tunnel. Not a very nice doggy.
Hunt him up.
Ben wants to explore the fun, cool city, but Rook wants to continue their investigation into the alien gang terrorizing the town. Ben isn't super worried, he says, because sooner or later, the big bad will send their minions after him. Not the best strategy, but right on schedule, Kyber's pet morphs into Bug Lizard and attacks Ben in the marketplace. They fight for a little bit, but Kyber calls Bug Lizard back when he sees Rook. Rook and Ben head to an alien bar that Bubble Helmet frequents. Ben transforms into Terraspin, choking all the bar patrons with non-poisoned air. Bubble Helmet tells them he'll talk when he can breathe. Rook returns his helmet. and Bubble Helmet zips off. Ben is annoyed that Rook fell for such a dumb trick, but Rook points out that following him will lead them to the big boss. Soon, they find Siphon. Siphon has been running a mob-like protection racket and intimidating local businesses, and he plans to extend his terrorizing to the surface. Siphon's goons attack Ben and Rook. Ben transforms into Armadillo, and he and Rook fight off the bad guys.
Break it up, people! Better yet.
I sense a partnership forming. Siphon takes on Armadillo, and Kyber sends in Bug Lizard to end the battle. Ben transforms into Shock Squatch while Rook takes on Siphon. And Rook even gets a halfway decent wisecrack in. Ben and Rook win the battle, but Bug Lizard escapes in a cloud of gas. Siphon and his goons are arrested and taken away by the plumbers. Grandpa Max tells Ben that he doesn't have to have a partner, he just thought that Ben was ready to be a mentor. Rook brings them some chili fries to share, which is what really seals the deal. Chili fries are Ben's favorite food, and he inhales them. Next time, lead with the chili fries, Rook. Next up, we've got episode 4 of season 1, titled Trouble Helix. Kyber the Huntsman sneaks into the Plumber HQ and inserts a device into the holo display, playing a flashback video.
Why did we hire you guys again?
You call control unit fabrication. I called it, but you did it!
The video shows that 5 years ago, Max asked for Azimuth's help with Ben's glitching Omnitrix. It's a pretty quick fix. Max leaves Gwen and Ben alone for a minute while he speaks with Azimuth about grown-up stuff, annoying the kids. Outside, something crashes into a nearby swamp. Ben turns into Feedback to investigate. You better hope so, Ben. Feedback fights the party crasher in the swamp, which turns out to be Mechamorph. Feedback morphs into Forearms, and the Mechamorph blasts Forearms through the tower. Azimuth recognizes the Mechamorph as malware and tells him that the technology he wants isn't ready. Malware steals the incomplete Helix technology and kidnaps Albedo before escaping. Max, Ben, and Azimuth hop in the skipper to fly to Moon Galvin B. On their way over, Azimuth explains that using the Helix, they terraformed Galvin B, which created the Galvanic Mechamorphs. The Mechamorphs built a peaceful civilization. When Azimuth shut down the Helix, malware was born, corrupted and incomplete. Yeah, dude, maybe next time. Don't try to kill off an entire species after you create them by accident. Azimuth says he's trying to fix it, but if it's handled incorrectly, there could be a massive explosion, and malware is not the type to handle things delicately. Ben transforms into Heat Blast to fight malware. Albedo completes the Helix work, and malware absorbs its powers, turning into a giant red Mechamorph. Ugh, I know, supervillains are always yammering on about the same, 3 things. Malware declares that he will upgrade himself again with Ben's Omnitrix. Ben transforms into Cannonbolt, saving Azimuth and Max from laser blasts. They fight, with Malware trying to rip the Omnitrix from Ben. Ben transforms again into Diamond Head, trapping Malware in Crystal.
Don't you ever get tired of being wrong?
Back in the present, Kyber copies and saves the video file before exiting HQ unnoticed. Well, hopefully that guy doesn't have any nefarious plans. The next episode we're covering is episode 7, So Long and Thanks for All the Smoothies. 3 missiles fly down from the sky, anchoring the planet to the Contamelia ship.
Nice save.
Ben and Rook go to investigate the ship, where they find the Vriedel brothers. Kinda dramatic, Rook. Apparently, the Vriedel brothers destroyed the Plumbers Academy, forcing Rook to take his final exam in a trailer. Still seems dramatic, Rook. They soon run into Argit, a con rat and longtime friend of Kevin's. Argit is just as surprised to see Ben. Argit has the Annihilarg, a legendary doomsday device that may or may not destroy the universe when detonated. It also may or may not create a new universe. Talk about a dangerous coin flip. But before they can discuss much further, an Incursian warship attaches itself to the Contamelia. Ben, Rook, and the Vriedel brothers take out Incursian soldiers, and Ben confronts their leader, Emperor Milius. Ben transforms into NRG, melting the Incursian's weapons. Argit storms in, mad at Milius, who promised to buy the Annihilarg from him. NRG demands Argit turn over the device. But Argit says he gave it to the Vriedel brothers, who are already on their way back to Earth. It is 100% your fault, my dude.
Rook! Ben!
Everyone lands back on Earth. Argit dives after the Doomsday device, which gets chaotically tossed around and activated. Ben transforms into Alien X as the universe is being destroyed, enabling him to reverse the process. But before Alien X can do anything, he has to come to an agreement with Bellicus and Serena. Alien X recreates the universe after a quick bickering session. Yeah, Ben would probably sound pretty insane repeating that story.
Noble?
Rook and Argett think Ben had a panic-induced hallucination, and Ben is positive that he created the universe, noting that his favorite grape smoothie tastes different now. Next, we've got the final two-parter of Season 1, titled Of Predators and Prey. Ben and Rook are having a grand old time at the arcade when they're rudely interrupted by Crabdozer, a transformed version of Kyber's pet.
You fight in real life all the time. Yeah, but this is in 3D. Like it's coming right at you.
Ben tries to transform into Humongosaur again, but gets Stinkfly instead. Ben transforms into a bunch of different alien forms, but Kyber's pet overpowers him as a predator every single time. Later, Rook makes the observation that Kyber's pet was able to transform based on Ben's weaknesses. And it had a device that looked a lot like the Omnitrix, but red. Sure, Ben, who cares about the havoc it wreaks in the meantime? Ben and Rook head to Undertown to investigate and soon get into a fight over strategy. Or rather, Ben's total lack of strategy. Frustrated, Rook bails on the job, leaving Ben to look around Undertown alone. In a flashback, we see Malware in the lair of Dr. Psychobos. He wants the doctor to build him his own Omnitrix. Back in the present, Psychobos is speaking with Kyber, saying he needs Ben's DNA. Ben summons Kyber's pet using a dog whistle from Pac-Mar's alien pet store, and he gets attacked. Ben tries to use the Omnitrix to transform, but it's recharging, so he escapes on his hoverboard instead. Is that the expression? Ben zips around for a bit before transforming into Crash Hopper. Kyber's pet transforms into Mutilator, swiftly taking him out.
Fight back all you want. There is a predator for every kind of prey.
Ben turns into several different aliens, but Kyber's pet transforms into the correct predator every time. Ben tries once more to become Humongosaur, but no such luck. He turns into Ball Weevil, which Kyber's pet easily takes on as Terrorantula. Ball Weevil flies through a sewer pipe onto the street, and Ben is just praying aloud that Rook will show up. While Kyber and Ball Weevil fight, the Omnitrix times out, transforming Ball Weevil back into Ben. He passes out, and Kyber finally catches his prey. Now, for the second half of this two-parter, Ben is being held captive by Kyber the Huntsman, who rudely slashes up part of his hoodie. I don't think Ben's going to get Kyber to buy him a new one. Kyber tells Ben that he's been working with Dr. Psychobos and Malware to create an Omnitrix clone called the Nematrix, which would enable his pet to transform into Ben's alien predators. For 5 years, Kyber has been hunting predators across the galaxy to collect their DNA, enhancing the powers of the Nematrix. Ben, probably still annoyed about his hoodie, taunts Kyber for not capturing him sooner. While Kyber is distracted, Ben uses his sword to cut himself free and turn into Humongosaur. I mean Wrath. Wrath fights Kyber's dog and then Kyber. Kyber is about to cut off Ben's Omnitrix arm when Rook shows up. Turns out he and Rook were never fighting. That was just a strategy to get Kyber off their trail. Smart move, guys. Kyber whistles to his dog, which turns into Crabdozer and pins Ben to a wall. Ben transforms into Heat Blast before getting chewed up and spit out by Crabdozer. Yuck, I don't even want to know. Ben transforms into Armadillo, then Stinkfly, then Crab Lizard, but Kyber's dog transforms into Ben's predator every single time. That seems exhausting. While fighting on top of the ship, Ben finally transforms into Humongosaur. We've been waiting for 10 episodes to see this. Humongosaur fights Tyrannopede and almost wins. Ben accidentally transforms into Gray Matter, making himself just small and smart enough to pinch a nerve on Tyrannopede, making it pass out. Rook is not faring quite as well in his fight against Kyber. Kyber is just about to deliver the final blow when Ben flies in as Big Chill, freezing the bad guy and saving his partner. They escape, and Kyber's ship crashes into the ground. But Kyber and his dog survived. Malware gives them instructions to capture Ben again, leaving us with a cliffhanger at the end of Season 1. To kick off Season 2, we have an episode titled Outbreak. It begins with Dr. Psychobos' lair as he tries to fix the Nematrix, which is glitching out and causing uncontrollable transformations. Kyber volunteers to track down Ben again, but Psychobos stops him. Very true. Broken clocks are right twice a day. Meanwhile, Rook and Ben are training at the plumber base. Max and Rook think that Ben needs to do some drills without the Omnitrix, just in case it fails. Ben assures them that will never happen. Dr. Psychobos and his robotic snakes break into the base to fight the plumbers. Psychobos snatches a piece of the Omnitrix from Ben before escaping. The Omnitrix glitches again, releasing a burst of energy that transforms Rook. and the plumber prisoners, enabling them to break out of their cells. See, Ben, you jinxed it. Siphon, now transformed into a Pyronite hybrid, sends a message to the wider base saying that he'll suck all of Bellwood into the Null Void if they don't free him and his minions. Bluekick and Dryba try to fix the Omnitrix, to no avail, eventually transforming Ben into a yellow blob alien called the Worst. That name is probably not great for his self-esteem. Our heroes head underground to shut off the base's power, closing the portal to the Null Void. The bad guys attack, and the pint-sized heroes fight back. Bluekick and Dryba finally fix the Omnitrix, the Worst transforms back into Ben, and everyone else turns back into normal. Ben transforms into Kickenhawk, taking out the bad guys with ease. Back on the ship, Dr. Psychobos puts the stolen Omnitrix part into the Nematrix. Malware is upset that the doc didn't kill Ben, but Psychobos says that their real enemy is Azimuth. Next up in an episode titled Many Happy Returns, Gwen and Kevin make a surprise visit to see Ben and go to Mr. Smoothie to catch up. Kevin tells Ben that he needs to stay hidden, but they're interrupted by a ship blowing up Kevin's car. And nearly blowing up Gwen, but good thing your girlfriend can protect herself with a powerful mana bubble, right, Kevin? Rook arrives in the proto truck and they engage in a flying car chase. Ben transforms into blocks and stops the ship, throwing it to the ground before our heroes make their escape. Kevin reiterates that he needs to hide. So Ben takes the gang into Undertown. The ship from earlier returns. A Tetramand named Princess Luma Redwind exits with Arget, saying that she's there to claim her husband, Kevin Levin. Still not as painful as a heartbreak. The heroes escape into a sewer tunnel, and Kevin confesses that he promised Luma his hand in marriage in exchange for a piece of tech.
They said there was no way. I was an outsider.
Luma catches up to them and starts fighting with Kevin and Rook. Ben transforms into XLR8, and Gwen turns into her Anodite form. Just then, a huge Tetraman ship flies in. Luma's father, Warlord Gar Redwind, demands Kevin his daughter. In exchange, he won't destroy the entire Earth. The Tetraman soldiers erect a wedding chapel. Ben transforms into Crash Hopper and challenges Luma to a fight. Luma easily defeats Crash Hopper, then Clockwork, then Shock Squatch. Ben refuses to give up and transforms into Forearms, who emerges from the battle victorious. The Tetramans tell Ben that this means he has to marry Luma. Kevin makes a quick getaway with Gwen. The Tetramans leave, telling Ben he has 3 years to prepare for the wedding. Ben and Rook are heading to the old Bellwood Days Festival, where Ben is making an appearance. Sorta. Fame ain't all what it's cracked up to be, Ben. The festival is interrupted by Kyber's pet, aka Bug Lizard. Ben transforms in a Heat Blast before getting knocked around by Crabdozer. Ben fights the Crabdozer turned Slamworm before it transforms again into Hypnotic.
This thing can instantly match me, alien for alien now.
It almost hypnotizes Ben as Big Chill, but he manages to brush it off. Flashback time! 11-year-old Ben and Gwen are with Grandpa Max on their way to Mount Rushmore, which is also a fully functioning plumber base. Max shows the kids a captured Psycholeopteran, which is the same predatory species as Hypnotic. An alarm goes off. Mauer begins attacking the plumber base, but Max swiftly defeats it using a tachyon cannon. Or maybe not. Malware reforms, absorbing the tachyon cannon. Ben transforms into Feedback, enabling him to defeat Malware. As they fight, Kyber sneaks off to steal DNA from the Psycholeopteran. Which brings us back to the present, where Ben realizes that his enemies are obtaining DNA samples from predators to perfect the Nematrix. Hypnotic puts Big Chill into a trance, and Ben has a fantasy where he sees himself as a famous hero. But he's able to talk himself out of it, because fame and fans aren't really what being a hero is all about. Ben figures out that this whole fight is just a diversion to get the duo away from Proto Truck. Ben sees Malware inside the truck destroying its memory core. Ben transforms into Humongosaur to fight Malware, but Malware escapes while Ben is saving kids on a bus. Later, a kid comes up to Ben to thank him for saving his life. And that's why you do this hero stuff, Ben. Next up is episode 9 of season 2, titled Store 23. Max and Ben are fighting Liam, the giant chicken guy from Siphon's gang, when Ben gets distracted. Next time, get into showbiz, Ben. Max scolds Ben for his antics. Ben recruits Bluekick and Dryba to help him find the 23rd Mr. Smoothie store, which is literally materializing and disappearing before their eyes. Inside, Ben finds Professor Hoakstar, who is trying to create a Mr. Smoothie store that exists in every dimension at once. And now, they've been transported to a new universe. There's a ruckus outside, and Ben goes to investigate. This universe has a familiar-looking hero, a younger, richer Ben who calls himself Ben 23. Ben 10 introduces himself and they both agree, this is pretty awesome. Ben and Ben 23 go to Mr. Gyro, where Ben 23 is mobbed by fans. Ben is pretty jealous. He takes a message from Max on his Omnitrix, prompting Ben 23 to say that Grandpa Max died in his universe. 7-7 launches a rocket on both Bens. A fight breaks out, and 7-7 brings a few friends. Ben transforms in a heat blast, and Ben 23 transforms into Electric Yeti so they can duke it out. Together, they win the fight. Ben 23 finds Azimuth 23 in a robotic suit and almost kills him, but Ben stops him. Ben 23 asks Ben how to tell good aliens from bad ones. Ben tells his interdimensional little brother that Azimuth 23 gives great advice, the kind Grandpa Max would have given him. Ben makes it back to his own universe and gives Grandpa Max a big hug. Sometimes, all you need is a stern talking to from someone you love, eh, Ben? To kick off Season 3, we have our first two-parter, titled Showdown. On Galvin Prime, Dr. Psychobos, Kyber, and Malware steal a DNA sample from an omnivoracious skeleton. Just the bad guys getting a DNA sample from the most dangerous predator in the universe, no big deal. Meanwhile, Ben and Rook are patrolling through Undertown. Rook asks Ben why he doesn't use feedback anymore, but Ben says he doesn't want to talk about it. Back on Galvin Prime, Azimuth is confronted by Dr. Psychobos, Malware, and Kyber, who brag about their mad science skills creating the Nemetrix. Yeah, but Azimuth gave you a pretty big head start by creating the Omnitrix in the first place. Suddenly, Azimuth teleports Ben as Humongosaur and Rook out of Undertown onto Galvin Prime, where they fight Kyber's pet, Omnivoracious. Ben is almost eaten by Hypnotic, but Azimuth finishes his new invention in the nick of time. Azimuth blows the whistle and Kyber's pet turns back to normal.
You are Azimuth. I cannot believe I am in the presence of the greatest mind in the universe.
Rook and Kyber have an epic whistle-off before Azimuth turns Kyber's pet into Visotopus, the natural predator of Dr. Psychobos. Ben figures out that the villains are being helped by Malware. Azimuth says he doesn't want a repeat of what happened to Feedback. This prompts Rook to ask Ben again, what the heck happened to Feedback? Flashback time. Ben says that Feedback was his go-to alien for a while until he had a fight with Malware several years back. Ben fought Malware as Feedback, but Malware removed the alien DNA from the Omnitrix entirely and destroyed it. Upset, Ben punched Malware, causing a huge explosion. They thought this was the end of Malware, but they were wrong. Ben thinks this entire thing is all his fault. Dr. Psychobos is arrested and Kyber's pet is taken away, but the Nemetrix and Kyber are missing. And Galvin B is suddenly destroyed. That doesn't look good. The second half of Showdown begins just 5 minutes before the Galvin B explosion. Several galvanic mechamorphs try to stop Malware, but he blasts them away. Malware finds a helix and absorbs its power, destroying Galvin B. Back on Galvin Prime, Ben, Rook, and Azimuth are dealing with the explosion's aftermath. Asteroids crash down from the sky. Azimuth says that these aren't ordinary rocks, but pieces of malware. Great. No one has any ideas, not even the guy who created malware in the first place. Azimuth tries to get Malware to join the heroes, but he isn't interested. He wants to take over all of Galvin Prime. Malware attacks. Ben transforms into Humongosaur to fight back. Malware grabs Humongosaur and begins absorbing him. Max flies in on a plumber ship, blasting Malware just in time to save Ben, Rook, and Azimuth. The ship flies away and the gang escapes. Azimuth tells the others that he designed Galvin Prime to have a series of firewalls to prevent viral attacks, like the one Malware is engaging in. If the firewalls are activated, Malware won't be able to take over. He just needs Ben and Kevin to distract Malware for a bit. Back on the surface, Ben fights Malware as Way Big while Kevin takes on Kyber's pet. Looks like Kevin is winning. Giant Malware and Way Big face off. It looks like Way Big might have things under control until Malware oozes up from the surface, trapping Way Big in place. Blue Kick and Dryba finish their work on the firewall, just barely preventing Malware from reaching the core.
Guys, we're almost out of time.
Plenty of time. We're done.
Well?
Malware absorbs Way Big into his body entirely. Ben is inside Malware, drifting in and out of consciousness. He sees an 11-year-old version of himself, grieving right after he lost Feedback. Azimuth tells him that losses are a learning opportunity. Present-day Ben gets an opportunity to talk to his younger self, telling him that he did learn from the experience, and most importantly, he learned to forgive himself. Ben shakes hands with his younger self before bursting out of Malware. As his old friend, Feedback, suddenly, hundreds of galvanic mechamorphs rain down from the sky, damaging Feedback and turning him back to his original size. Feedback hooks up to the helix, using the energy to finish off Malware for good this time. Next up, we've got another two-parter titled The Frogs of War. The Incursians are about to invade planet Earth. At Plumber HQ, Max tells Ben and Rook that the Incursians have them surrounded and are preparing for war. The citizens were riled up by Will Harang, a loudmouth TV personality known for his smear campaigns against Ben. Max urges Ben to calm down the city. He's a celebrity hero and they're likely to listen. Okay, Max was wrong. Ben nervously fiddles with his Omnitrix, accidentally turning on the randomizer function. He transforms himself into Way Big, and then NRG, and then Water Hazard, causing a whole bunch of destruction and fear among the crowd. In space, Emperor Milius is assisted by Dr. Psychobos. The incursions break through the planetary shields. Ben is able to take a few of them down on his Astrodactyl and Wrath before being saved by Rook midair.
Bring it on, froggies!
They return to base, where the plumbers are preparing a plan of attack. Max tells Ben to sit this one out until the randomizer function can be shut off. Ben ignores the orders and jumps on Rook's ship. Their ship crashes onto Emperor Milius's, and Ben, as Nanomech and Forearms, takes out a bunch of incursions with the help of Rook, but Ben's Omnitrix is still glitching out, only letting him stay as any given alien for a few minutes at a time. Ben gets a few good licks in as Big Chill, Accelerate, Humongosaur, and Crash Hopper before the ship crash lands on Earth. Yeah, Ben, looks like you have things totally under control. Outside the ship, Max and Atia have their armies facing each other. Dr. Psychobos presses a button, releasing large mutated Toku stars all over the planet. To protect the citizens on Earth, Ben reluctantly surrenders. Bill Harang reports that the incursions have taken over Earth, and he's proud to say that Ben Tennyson has been blasted into space. The next episode is the second part of the Frogs of War. Ben has been exiled to space. Emperor Milius has taken over the Earth. Will Harang, however, thinks this whole thing is hunky-dory. Yeah, the group bombing the White House are probably not the good guys, Will. Milius has taken over the entire planet with his army of Waybads. Meanwhile, Gwen, Kevin, Rook, Argit, and Bluekick are trying to launch a counterattack without much success. Argit suggests going after Dr. Psychobos, since he has the power to control the Waybads. The gang assembles outside Psychobos' convoy to hijack it, but it's a setup. Argit already made a deal with Atia to betray his friends, and the heroes are arrested, and that's why you can't trust bad guys, Argit. Another incursion takes out Atia and the others before beckoning the others to follow him. He introduces himself as Bullfrag and leads them to a spaceship where they can escape. Bullfrag tells the gang he has a plan to take down Psychobos and rescue the plumbers. Bullfrag helps get the team into the base, enabling Rook to hijack the security system. The plumbers are freed, including Max. Bullfrag refers to Max as Grandpa, revealing that Ben was working undercover as Bullfrag. Gwen says she knew this already. Ben tells them that Azimuth picked him up from the space pod and fixed his Omnitrix, adding incursion DNA so Ben could infiltrate Atia's forces. A Waybad is incoming, and Ben transforms into Way Big to fight it. Rook, meanwhile, takes down Psychobos, but the Waybads continue to attack. Milius, furious that Ben has returned, sends his ship after him. This is getting to be quite the jam. Rook reemerges with a null void projector, setting the Waybads into a different dimension. This gives Way Big the space to blast Milius' ship with his laser beam, causing it to crash. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Max confront the Emperor, with Atia and Psychobos in chains. The gang arrests Milius, but Atia breaks from her handcuffs, insisting that this was her plan all along. She knew Ben would break free and overthrow her father, enabling her own takeover. Atia agrees to call off her army if they keep her father under lock and key. Emperor Milius is equally proud and devastated. On her way out, Atia gives Ben a very tonguey kiss. Blech. And now we're kicking off Season 4 with an episode titled Food Around the Corner. A spaceship full of flea-like aliens called Helix drop onto an unknown planet, getting ready to drill for some resources. But the planet is actually Ben as Gravitac. He's about to negotiate a peace deal between the Apoplexians and the Leodons. Being a hero is a thankless job, Ben.
Readings are good, Colonel. Complete scans on all spectrums. We have a gravitational field, an environment, and no sign whatsoever.
The conference begins, and both sides start bickering immediately, threatening war. Gravitac calms everyone down, but the construction and drilling happening on his skin makes him a little testy and a lot itchy. I'm itchy just thinking about this. From another room, Max and Rook see the Helix on Gravitac's skin. Rook is shrunk down to a microscopic size and grapples onto Gravitac. Rook approaches the Helix, asking them to halt operations. They aren't interested and plan to drill into Gravitac's core, which could kill Ben. Rook fights off some of the Helix workers, who blast Gravitac with grenades. This causes some drama in the regular-sized world. Can someone get this guy an allergy pill? Rook gets in touch with Ben, telling him that he could explode at any minute. He tries to leave, but the leader of the Leodons, Poltroon, traps everyone else in the room before escaping himself.
Oh no, Poltroon!
Saying he plans to take over his home planet. Rook finally finds the Omnitrix, disabling it to turn Gravitac back into Ben. Ben transforms into Jury Rig, escaping from the locked room. Ben transforms into Wrath and beats the crap out of Poltroon, with a last-minute assist from Rook, who destroys Poltroon's sonic frequency device. At Burger Shack, both sides finally reach a peace agreement. Poltroon was arrested and invaded by the Helix. That's some satisfying karma right there. The next episode in Season 4, Episode 6, titled Auto Motives. It kicks off with a flashback from 5 years back, with Kevin in the Null Void with Argit, where a robot named Otto is helping them escape from the Void, or so they thought. Didn't anyone teach you guys about robot stranger danger? Back in the present, Kevin and Rook are traveling on the planet Koros, home of the Tetramans. They're attending the Koros car show when they run into Argit, and then Otto. Kevin and Argit try to charge him, but they're stopped by Otto's violent offenders. Otto pleads innocence, saying he tried to pull them out of the Void, but Kevin doesn't buy it. The violent offenders attack. Rook calls Ben for backup, but his call is cut short. Rook and Metal Kevin fight the offenders, and soon they're arrested. Argit decided to stay away from the fighting. Yeah, totally Argit. Warlord Gar thanks Kevin, Rook, and Argit, saying they'll be honored guests at the car show. Otto and the violent offenders break out of the cell with stolen cars. Kevin and Rook hop on a Tetraman piece to chase them. Otto's group bursts through the main gate. Argit picks up Kevin and Rook with a proto truck and Kevin's car, and they chase Otto and his gang, eventually arresting them again. But soon, the proto truck merges with Otto, turning into a giant robot. Would be way cooler if I didn't think he was gonna kill everyone. Ben teleports onto the scene and transforms into Upgrade, tuning Kevin's car into a giant galvanic mechamorph robot. They have an awesome battle, and Ben takes down Otto. Since Kevin's car was destroyed, Warlord Gar gives Kevin one of his as a thank you. Next up is an episode called The Ultimate Heist. Ben and Rook are in Undertown looking for Inspector 13, who is harboring illegal alien tech. Ben gets a little distracted as usual. Never too early to shop for gifts, Rook. They run into Argit, who's received some very positive attention for his role in the incursion invasion. Argit takes Ben and Rook to his office, where Ben tells him about the search for Inspector 13. Argit agrees to help them break into his warehouse and find him if he can keep the legal weapons to sell for himself. Surprisingly, Ben agrees. Meanwhile, Albedo, Ben's evil twin, is pounding on the door of his jail cell at Plumber HQ, saying he's actually Ben Tennyson. Back in Undertown, Argit, Rook, and the Albedo, disguised as Ben, break into the warehouse. The Tekadon robots are alerted, and a battle ensues. The heroes succeed, at least until Albedo turns into a Wildvine and traps them all. All those powers, and he still needs contacts and a wig for a disguise. Albedo tells the gang that he has a silent partner in the Plumber base, who helped replace him with the real Ben. Albedo transforms into Negative Humongosaur to fight Inspector 13. Soon, he's attacked by Tekadon robots. Albedo transforms into Negative Big Chill, trapping Inspector 13 in ice. Albedo steals the polymorphic crystal as well, which he says will give him ultimate power. Ben, as Armadillo, shows up just in time to fight Albedo. Ben at the Plumbers conduct a full body scan, proving he's the real Ben. The good and bad Bens fight over the polymorphic crystal, but Albedo snatches it, enabling himself to turn into ultimate forms. He fights Ben as Ultimate Humongosaur, Ultimate Echo Echo, and Ultimate Spider Monkey, and Ben is no match for them.
I can change into ultimate aliens, but you can't.
Luckily, Argit sneak attacks Albedo with his quills and he passes out. Inspector 13 is arrested, but Albedo is rescued by an unidentified spaceship, which turns out to be Kyber's. Kyber is upset about Albedo's loss, but they're pleased that he can assume ultimate forms. No one likes to know it all, guys. Next up is an episode titled A Fistful of Brains. Ben and Rook are chasing Albedo in Undertown, but Ben accidentally climbs aboard his well-disguised spaceship. Ben is taken to Kyber's hunting preserve, where he's quickly attacked by a Slamoid and a Crabdozer. Soon, Ben encounters Kyber and his newest pet, a Panuncian. Kyber challenges Ben to a game. He says that he'll hunt Ben until he cannot run anymore. Ben transforms into Ditto. Kyber isn't worried and creepily pets his Panuncian. Come on, Kyber, it's not even a fair fight. Ditto splits off into multiple directions, getting chased by the Panuncian clones through the snow, the desert, and through underground tunnels. Soon, they surround Ben, and Kyber whistles to transform his pet clones into all of the different Nemetrix predators at once. Okay, that's super not fair. Rook and Max, meanwhile, are traveling from planet to planet to track Ben's DNA, but Albedo has sent them on a wild goose chase. Or a wild Ben chase, as it were.
Get to the point, Albedo.
If you insist, Grandpa.
Ben transforms into Astrodactyl, flying into the sky before quickly hitting a ceiling. Astrodactyl blasts through the ceiling and finds Albedo. Ben tells Albedo to leave him alone, but Albedo wants revenge for his imprisonment. Ben transforms into Eye Guy, Upchuck, Goop, and Shock Squatch, but he can't beat Ultimate Albedo. Ben should really be more careful with his words. Rook and Max finally arrive, crash land, while Ben is fighting Ultimate Humongosaur. Ben transforms into Feedback, redirecting his missiles back at Albedo, capturing him. But before they can celebrate, Kyber shows them that they have Azimuth held captive. The next episode is a follow-up to the last one, titled For a Few Brains More. Kyber and Ultimate Albedo have captured Azimuth, draining the intelligence from his body and turning it into a green orb. The heroes fight over the orb and Azimuth himself, before escaping with both. Azimuth is different though. Don't even think about it then. Kyber and Albedo as negative Arctiguana follow the heroes, demanding the brain orb back. Ben escapes into a room with Azimuth, where he accidentally sets off a self-destruct function. In the explosion, the heroes escape into the proto-truck. Albedo's name is actually changed to Albedo in the Omniverse series, so I'm gonna start pronouncing it like that from now on. Albedo and Kyber attack from their ship, burning out the proto-truck's engines. Kevin and Gwen come to the rescue, slowing the ship down before it crash lands on Earth. Ben transforms into Gravitack, but Albedo takes him down as the negative Armadillo and then negative Gravitack. Kevin and Gwen fight Kyber, trapping him, but he transforms his pet into an ultimate Planuncian. Gwen holds the enemies back with her force field, and Azimuth accidentally turns Ben into Pesky Dust. Surprisingly, Kyber is terrified of Pesky Dust. Pesky Dust puts Kyber to sleep and views his dreams. Aw, Kyber just wants a family and some recognition. Pesky Dust discerns that Albedo is in a lab somewhere. Ben transforms into Water Hazard to blast the ultimate Planuncian with water, giving Kevin an opportunity to smash the Nematrix. The heroes head to Billion's Tower. Ultimate Albedo is already transferring Azimuth's brain to his own. He traps Ben and the gang before he starts to have an existential crisis, overwhelmed by his insignificance in a cruel, uncaring universe. Albedo believes his efforts to be pointless. While he's monologuing, Azimuth falls on Ben's Omnitrix, then transforms into blocks, enabling him to pull a switch to drain away Albedo's brain power.
My jealousy of Azimuth, it isn't just evil. Ultimately, it's pointless.
Albedo, no longer enlightened, transforms into Ultimate Humongosaur and battles Ben, who turns into a new alien called Atomics. Atomics fights Ultimate Spider Monkey, finishing him off with a power called Nuclear Winter. It's very, very awesome. The gang puts Azimuth's brain back where it belongs. Azimuth, angry, tells Ben he has got to stop hitting the Omnitrix so hard, which is what's causing him to randomize. He rewires Albedo's Ultimatrix before teleporting away. Albedo is arrested, but Kyber gets away. The Ultimatrix starts shorting out, turning Albedo back into his 11-year-old Ben form. Aw, childhood is supposed to be fun. Kicking off Season 5 in an episode titled Mystery Incorporeal. Ben, Rook, and Kevin are visiting Gwen's college, Friedkin University. Gwen has been thriving in school, overachieving in classes, protecting the campus as Lucky Girl, and even using her full name, Gwendolyn. Gwen and her friend Dante leave for class, but a rock monster attacks. Rook and Ben as Jury Rig fight the rock monster, but the Omnitrix gets damaged in the fight. It's only displaying Ghost Freak's icon. Kevin, Rook, and Ben follow the rock monster into a lecture hall, but before they can escape, students pile in for the lecture. Professor Zagliv gives her art history lecture, revealing one of the charms of Basel at the end of class. More rock monsters appear. Ben fights them with Rook and Gwen, who fights as Lucky Girl. Gwen still doesn't get any credit though. The heroes confront Zagliv. Ben accuses her of using the charm of Basel, but Dante laughs evilly behind them, snagging the charm and attacking. Dante kidnaps Gwen and takes her into the basement, revealing himself to be Darkstar. Rook blasts open the door with his proto tool, and a fight breaks out between the heroes and the rock monsters. Darkstar drains the mana from his rock army, turning himself back into Michael Morningstar. Personally, I do not find murder supervillains to be beautiful whatsoever. Ben possesses Michael as Ghost Freak, using his body to free Gwen. Soon, Michael/Darkstar/Dante is arrested, but the police officer is actually Charmcaster, enabling Zescare to return from the Ledger Domain. Next up is an episode titled An American Benwolf in London. It begins with Kai and Wes Green investigating the sewers of London. They're interrupted by Forever King Dr. Joseph Chadwick and his knights, who steal the formula and kidnap Wes. Kai gets away and calls Ben for help. Ben and Rook arrive in London, but Ben swears that Rook didn't have to come. Ooh, Ben's in love. The pair arrive in London and meet up with Kai, who tells them that the Forever Knights stole her grandfather to get his help finding a sword, eventually leading them to Highgate Cemetery.
Gwen and I talk. It wasn't a crush, okay? I just thought she was different.
At the cemetery, the Red Knights attack. Rook and Four Arms battle with him, enabling Kai to escape, but she immediately runs into Chadwick, who has West in custody. Chadwick tells them that they're searching for Excalibur, which will prevent aliens from coming to Earth and return the Forever Knights to their rightful place as rulers of the world. Chadwick takes them to a roof near Big Ben where they summon a stone structure. Ben tries to fly down to it, but transforms into Blitzwolfer instead. A battle ensues as our heroes attempt to get to the sword, and Ben even saves Kai. Pretty smooth, Ben. At the stone structure, Chadwick opens the door using a ring. He drinks the Mr. Hyde formula, turning into a gorilla-like beast, but he's unable to pull out the sword. Chadwick forces Ben to try, but he's not successful either. Angry, Chadwick commands his knights to destroy Ben and his team, and a fight breaks out. The room floods in the battle destruction, but Kai finds an exit on the floor and they escape unharmed. Rook, Ben, Wes, and Kai exchange goodbyes on the bridge. Ben even gets a kiss on the cheek. The next episode is titled Animo Crackers. It opens at Plumber HQ where Dr. Animo is talking to his stuffed animals. He seems pretty insane until one of the stuffed animals starts talking back, telling Dr. Animo they're busting out of the place, but Animo accidentally sets off the alarms, attracting the attention of the plumbers. Animo and his toy blast their way out, but they're stopped by Ben, Rook, and Magister Patelidae. The toy keeps Animo calm, saying Ben will try to transform into Humongousaur, but instead will get upgrade. Lucky guess? For the toy's instructions, Animo throws a device at Ben, enabling them to escape up the elevator. Up, up, and away! Animo and the toy crash land the elevator into the forest. Animo is approached by a gorilla-type creature, who introduces himself as Animo from the future. Future Animo recruits his past self to steal a mutant DNA project from the government, but they're interrupted by Spanner. Rook and Ben catch up with them, and the chase is on. Rook catches Animo, until Animo transforms some squirrels into mutants and sends them after Rook. Future Animo frees his past self. Spanner, Ben, and Rook have a regroup. Spanner tells Ben to call Lieutenant Steele. They catch up with him, finding the mutant frog and a mutant snail being ridden by future and present Animo. Ben transforms into gut rot, releasing sulfur dioxide and then nitrous oxide, aka laughing gas. Wow, future Animo has no sense of humor. Rook points out that even if they defeat Animo, he'll just keep coming back from the future. Spanner suggests making them forget the whole day ever happened. Gutrot sprays a gas on the Animos that introduces short-term memory loss, saving the day. Spanner takes future Animo back to the future where he belongs. The next episode of Season 5 is an episode titled Rad Monster Party. Ben, Rook, Rad, and Hobble are flying through space on the lovely duck ship when the engines go offline, causing the ship to crash on Aner Transil. Ben is loving the place, as all the residents appear to be cool monsters. Yeah, Ben, get your scary face away from the nice monster, man. The gang explores the town while being stalked by a Thepkufin. Hobble, Rook, and Rad are soon snatched away by some spooky bandages until the monster reveals itself to be Ben. Ben transforms into Wildvine and he fights the Thepkufin in front of a crowd. But from the perspective of the townsfolk, it looks like Ben is beating on an innocent mummy and a mob forms to chase him. A Leboan plumber named Scout swings down to save Ben and agrees to help him find his friends, who are probably taken by Cthulhu. Soon, Scout and Ben arrive at a temple where Rook, Rad, and Hobble are wrapped up in bandages. Cthulhu attacks, and Ben quickly finishes him off as Crash Hopper. Before the gang can return to the ship, they're stopped by Zaskare, Crujo, and Dr. Victor. Ben is kinda rude about Zaskare's name. Way to stand your ground, Ghost Freak. Zaskare tells Ben after escaping the Ledger domain, he broke into the basement of Plumber HQ, freeing Dr. Victor and stowing themselves away on the Lovely Duck. They crashed the ship on purpose so Zaskare could rule Aner Transil as High Ecto-Lord once more. Ben transforms into NRG and opens his metal casing. The light from NRG's true form blinds Zaskare, but before the heroes can apprehend him, the mob comes back, giving Victor and Crujo time to grab their boss and escape. Scout convinces the mob to leave and gives the heroes their part to fix the ship. Oh. Oops. Looks like these guys are going to be staying on Aner Transil for a while. Next up is an episode titled Charmed, I'm Sure. Ben and his friends are still stuck on Aner Transil. Even worse, Ben has a pimple on his face. But maybe the Charmcaster appearing out of nowhere is even worse. Ben is ready to fight, but Charmcaster tells them that she wants their help defeating Zaskare.
Him? I don't know. He's new.
I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Ben isn't convinced and asks Rad how long it will take them to finish fixing the ship, but Rad ignores him, still mad at Ben for breaking the ship part. Soon, Ben, Rook, Charmcaster, and Hobble make it downtown, sneaking around to avoid detection. Rook tries to help Ben get rid of the many pimples on his face to no avail. The gang finally arrives at Zascare's castle, where they're attacked by living pumpkin scarecrows. They can only be defeated by magic, so Charmcaster takes out a bunch of them while Ben, as Swampfire, clears a path to the castle. When Ben turns back into himself, his pimples are bigger and way uglier. The heroes find a trick mirror and end up having to fight mirrored versions of themselves. They're able to shatter their doppelgangers and finally find Zascare's room. Zascare tosses Charmcaster the Alpha Rune, saying he already drained its power and no longer needs it. He then teleports the heroes out of the castle. The living pumpkins attack again, but Charmcaster uses the Alpha Rune on herself, absorbing her rock monsters and attacking Rook, Ben, and Hobble. He's gonna need a lot of therapy for this heartbreak.
Okay, that is the coolest thing ever!
Ben turns into Swampfire again and realizes he can control plant life. He orders the pumpkins to attack Charmcaster instead. Rook throws his various pimple cures at Charmcaster and her armor dissolves. He uses Gwen's spellbook to teleport her away to the Ledger domain. Ben transforms back into himself and his pimples are gone, but they're still stuck on Anna Transil. The next episode is titled The Vampire Strikes Back and begins on, you guessed it, Anna Transil. Zascare uses the power of the Alpha Rune to revive a Vladat named Lord Transil. Victor isn't happy about this because the Vladats enslaved his people. Zascare doesn't really care and resurrects Lord Transil anyway. Meanwhile, Red is flying the ship away from the planet when Ben's Omnitrix detects a new DNA sample on Anna Transil. Ben tells Rad to turn around, but he refuses, opening the ship's door and sucking Ben out of the ship. Rook convinces Rad to turn around with an enticing offer. Had a duck. Meanwhile, at Zascare's castle, Zascare convinces his new friend to brainwash all of the citizens on the planet so they can rule the universe together. The zombified citizens find Ben, successfully brainwashing Rook, Rad, and Scout as well. Besides Hobble, who says the brainwashing Corruptura was unable to get through his mucus-covered skin. Yuck. Ben scans Lord Transil and transforms into a new alien called Vampire. Vampire shoots Corrupturus at Crujo, Cthulhu, and Victor, brainwashing them to his side before they escape with Hobble to find Zascare.
Yeah, well, two can play that game. I hope.
Rook, Rad, and Scout are doing their best to fight the brainwashing. A for effort, guys. Vampire flies a lovely duck into the castle walls. Vampire, Victor, Crujo, Hobble, and Cthulhu battle Transil, Zascare, Rook, Scout, and Red. The Omnitrix times out, turning Vampire back into Ben. Victor, no longer under Ben's control, has his own agenda, betraying Zascare and Lord Transil. Ben transforms into Atomics, creating a powerful orb of bright light that kills Zascare and frees everyone from Lord Transil's brainwashing powers. Just to be safe, Lord Transil is stored in a coffin near the Anner System's sun. The episode ends with the heroes finally leaving the Anner System. Talk about a field trip. Now, let's kick off with Season 6, Episode 1, titled, And Then There Were None. Ben is saving a cat from a tree when his Omnitrix beeps. Wait, that's just a regular watch. Turns out this is an alternative timeline where Ben never received the Omnitrix. Later, after a soccer game, Kevin pushes Ben over and steals his watch. Ben tells Max that he's bored about being in the same old town and doing the same old stuff. Later that night, Ben is leaving Mr. Smoothie when he's stopped by Bad Ben. Bad Ben transforms into Ghost Freak and tells Ben he must be destroyed. Rude. Soon, Bad Ben is joined by Albedo and Benzaro. Watchless Ben is tracked down by Ben Prime, who rescues him and takes him to Professor Paradox. Paradox explains the concept of the multiverse, noting that this is the only Ben that hasn't even heard of the Omnitrix. Yeah, I'd be confused too. Eon and
Vilgax
soon show up to kidnap No Watch Ben. They plan to kidnap Bens from all over the multiverse to corrupt them. Bad Ben, Albedo, Benzaro, Mad Ben, and Nega Ben join the fight.
Vilgax
Says that No Watch Ben is a wild card and needs to be eliminated. Paradox teleports in, bringing Ben 10,000, Ben 23, and Gwen 10 with him. The Battle of the Bens is on.
Vilgax
Watches the fight from nearby rooftop and teleports in a Chronosapien time bomb, which will eliminate every Ben from the multiverse besides No Watch Ben. He sets the bomb off, destroying all of the Bens. As Ben Prime fades away, his Omnitrix drops onto No Watch Ben's wrist. Before
Vilgax
can kill No Watch Ben, Paradox pulls him into a portal in a pocket dimension. Paradox tells him that he's the last remaining Ben Tennyson in existence, but he has a plan. They're going back to where it all began. The next episode, titled And Then There Was Ben, picks up right where the last episode left off. Paradox brings No Watch Ben to Vilgax, spaceship from the original timeline. In order to reverse the damage to the multiverse, they need to ensure that all of the events take place as they originally did. Gosh, time travel is confusing. With the help of gray matter and Cannonball, No Watch Ben is able to send the Omnitrix pod down to Earth, where it crashes near 10-year-old Ben Prime. Hey, maybe don't touch the mysterious space tech if you don't want it to cling to your body.
I'm on fire! I'm on fire!
Paradox tells No Watch Ben that they need to unite the other good Bens for a multiversal showdown between them, the evil Bens, Vilgax and Eon. Paradox teleports them to other universes, recruiting Gwen 10 and Ben 23. The gang heads to a new dimension, running into a version of Argit who has the Omnitrix. No Watch Ben doesn't even know Argit. Good call. In another universe, they find Ben 10,000, who quickly pieces together what's going on. Next, they visit Ben Prime, who's immediately down for an adventure. The gang regroups in a pocket dimension before teleporting to No Watch Ben's original timeline.
Vilgax
Taunts No Watch Ben, saying he presents no threat even with the Omnitrix. No Watch Ben transforms into Clockwork, undoing the effects of the time bomb and restoring the other Bens. A fight breaks out between the good and bad Bens.
Watch it, monster face!
Clockwork returns the evil Bens to their timelines before returning the Omnitrix to Ben Prime. Ben Prime as Diamond Head, Ben 10,000 as Atomix X, Ben 23 as Electric Yeti, and Gwen 10 as Cannonball kick
Vilgax.
But it's No Watch Ben who delivers the final blow. Good thing No Watch Ben takes self-defense classes. The Bens return to their respective timelines, and Max arrives with the plumbers to arrest
Vilgax.
Ben Prime is happy that even his watchless counterpart is a hero in his own right, and returns home. The next episode is titled Universe vs. Tennyson. Ben is complaining to Rook about the new Mr. Smoothie formula not tasting the same since he recreated the universe as Alien X. Soon, they get caught up in a car chase with Fistrick. Before they can arrest him, Ben and Rook are stopped by a Galvin lawyer named Chadsmith. Chadsmith tells Ben that because his client was not read his rights, he is free to go. A few other criminals have to be released as well. That's the law for you, Ben. When trying to make an arrest at Mr. Smoothie one night, Ben's name is called out. A celestial sapien named Starbeard tells Ben that he is being criminally charged with unauthorized recreation of the universe. Ben pleads innocence to Judge Domstol, but Domstol says the decision won't be up to him. Rather, quadrillions of aliens will be watching the trial and will vote on his guilt. Ben reluctantly gives Chadsmith a call. Rook is called to the stand and is a little too honest. Well, he is supposed to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Ben has frequently demonstrated his ignorance of procedure, as well as a countless host of other topics.
Starbeard calls Ben to the stand and offers him a Mr. Smoothie, asking him if it tastes different. Ben caves and admits he was forced to recreate the universe after the Annihilarg destroyed it. Ben is found guilty. Chadsmith has another trick up his sleeve, invoking the Tetraman Trial of Combat. Ben transforms into Forearms and then Eye-Guy to fight a galactic gladiator. It doesn't go well. Ben transforms into Alien X. After some bickering with Serena and Bellicus, Alien X surrounds the gladiator and an army of duplicates before sealing him in a black hole. Ben is announced as the winner and let off the hook for the crime of recreating the universe. Ben begrudgingly thanks Chadsmith for his services. Oh, Ben has a credit card. To wrap up Season 6, we have another two-parter titled Weapon 11. Kevin, Argit, and Zed visit Alan on the Albright farm when a rooter named Swift crashes into the barn. A fight breaks out. Alan, now in his pure knight form, fights Swift with Kevin and asks where Ben is. Ben and Rook are at Mr. Smoothie when Gwen appears with a letter from Kevin. The letter reads that Kevin has Alan and needs Gwen to find Helen and Manny and bring them to the Null Void. Stubborn kid. Kevin tells Alan that they lived with Helen and Manny as kids, which Alan doesn't remember at all. In another flashback, Kevin shows Alan that they were experimented on by the Rooters, led by Proctor Cervantes. In the Null Void, Kevin sneaks into the Rooter base. Cervantes was hoping that Kevin would bring his friends and help him defeat Ben. Ben crashes in as Atomix. Gwen, Rook, Argit, and the Amalgam kids arrive soon after. Kevin is pretty annoyed because he was very much trying to avoid this scenario. Don't you know Ben hates orders, Kevin?
After all I did to keep Ben and the Amalgams away from the Rooters, you just bring them here?
Cervantes zaps Kevin and the Amalgam kids, making them turn on Ben. Cervantes then traps Kevin in a force field for a little chit-chat while the others duke it out. Cervantes tells Kevin that everything that's happened is Ben's fault, and Kevin should have neutralized him years ago. Ben transforms into Alien X, taking out the Amalgam Kids and Rooters with ease. Before Alien X can hurt Alan, Kevin stops him. Ben turns into Kickenhawk, wanting to fight Cervantes, but ends up fighting Kevin instead. Kevin smashes Kickenhawk through the floor, and Kickenhawk escapes with Gwen, Rook, Zed, and Arget. Cervantes is pleased to have reunited Kevin and the Amalgam Kids. Kevin says he plans to hunt down and destroy Ben Tennyson. The Season 6 finale begins right where the last episode left off. Ben and his non-corrupted pals are trying to escape the Null Void when they're attacked by a Waybad. Ben tries to turn into Way Big, but gets Ball Weevil instead. Luckily, they still manage to escape. Arget leads them to a secret cave and tells Ben that Cervantes was a former plumber, who specifically trained Kevin and the Amalgam Kids for years to destroy Ben. Frustrated, Ben demands more info. Okay, snack break and then story time. Arget goes on to describe a flashback, in which the Amalgam Kids and Kevin attacked Team Tennyson soon after Ben got the Omnitrix. Kevin accidentally touches the Omnitrix, mutating into a terrifying, powerful creature, but they're still defeated. Cervantes considered the mission a total failure, wiping the kids' memories before he was willing to try again. The gang is trying to come up with a plan, but they're interrupted again by a Waybad. Gwen morphs into her Anodite form, enabling them to escape to the Rooter base. Kevin tries to stop Ben's group from reaching the Null Void projector. He pins down Gutrot and touches the Omnitrix, causing him to mutate again. I don't know about you, but I would not be relaxed looking at that face. Ben fights mutated Kevin as Swampfire, Gravitack, and Feedback, while Rook and Gwen take on the others. The Omnitrix times out and Kevin captures Ben. Kevin brings Ben to a disruptor chamber that will destroy Ben and the Omnitrix forever. But instead of putting Ben inside, Kevin grabs Cervantes, destroying his loyalty Neuromatrix, turning the Amalgam Kids against the Rooters for good. Outside the base, Max, Magistrata, and Magister Patellidae arrive, revoking the plumber tech and sentencing them to eternity in the Null Void. Ben and his friends decide to head to Burger Shack. Next, let's kick off Season 7 with an episode titled Rook Tales. It begins on Ravana, where Rook Shar, Rook's younger sister, is about to board a ship to attend the Plumber's Academy, when Master Kundo appears to stop her. Shar says her mind is made up, but that doesn't stop Kundo from sneaking aboard the ship. Man, this guy really doesn't like the plumbers. Back on Earth, Ben and Rook are waiting for Shar to arrive. Just be glad you didn't have to pick her up at an actual airport, Ben.
Don't understand. Like, hey, how'd Lucky Girl get a fan page? Do I need something like that?
When the ship arrives, Shar exits, bringing Young One with her. He also snuck aboard. Don't these guys have an intergalactic TSA or something? Ben and Rook's family are enjoying smoothies when Kundo shows up, demanding Shar and Young One return with him. Kundo strikes first, so Ben transforms into Water Hazard and they battle. Kundo almost kills Ben, but Rook blocks the strike with his proto-tool, which shatters. Kundo is distracted by a car, giving Ben, Rook, and his siblings time to escape to Plumber HQ. Back at HQ, Ben tries to help Young One get his Bienthok to fall off, to no avail. Oh, thank God, just fruit. Rook heads to Undertown unable to find Kundo, until Kundo attacks him. Shar joins the fight, but they're swiftly defeated. Kundo insists on returning to their home planet after they find Young One. Ben and Young One see footage of the fight in Undertown and race off to confront Kundo. Ben transforms into Wildvine, blocks, and Kickenhawk to fight, but Kundo defeats them all with ease. Rook regains consciousness. Young One throws his brother the fixed proto-tool, blocking Kundo's stonecutter and setting him flying into a vat of chemicals, turning him into a cyborg, to his horror. Young One's Bienthok falls off, and he gets to choose a name for himself. Rook, Ben. The next episode is titled The Ballad of Mr. Bauman. It begins with a flashback featuring a very young Ben, who was destroying his store even before he got the Omnitrix. On his way home, a falling star crashes near his vehicle, and Bauman sees a strange alien asking for help. Bauman picks her up, saying she's in good hands. Exactly 5.22 years later, Ben and Max are at Bauman's store when Volcanus attacks. Ben's Omnitrix times out, but he and Max use a fire extinguisher to stun Volcanus. Max and Ben find Bauman in an abandoned mine. He says that he took care of Volcanus. Yeah, something tells me that's not the end of Volcanus. Bauman runs off to find the alien he rescued years ago. Her name is Sheelane, and she's Bauman's girlfriend who needs Element X to survive. Sheelane has been living underwater and is only able to visit Bauman for one day every 5.22 years. Bauman delivers her the Element X, but Volcanus crashes in, stealing the element and Sheelane. Ben transforms into Diamond Head to fight, reclaiming the Element X, but during the fight, Volcanus is backed into the iron ore, causing a huge explosion. 5.22 more years later, Ben is walking through Undertown when he sees a pair of pickaxe aliens following Sheelane and Bauman. Before Ben can follow them, he's knocked out, waking up in a dumpster. Ben transforms into Eye Guy, tracking the couple by Bauman's strong cologne. Bauman and Sheelane's day is interrupted by Volcanus and the pickaxe aliens. He steals Sheelane, heading down to her ship to obtain Element X. Bauman later returns to the mine with an underwater suit. Ben transforms into Ripjaws and a fight breaks out. Sheelane takes on the pickaxe aliens and Ripjaws destroys Volcanus' suit. Again. With the bad guys defeated, Bauman tells Sheelane that his suit will let him visit her whenever he wants, and he proposes. Aww, happy ending. The next episode is called Fight at the Museum. Ben is on the museum day with Esther. Well, Esther thought so until Rook showed up. And then they run into Kai, which will also probably kill the day vibe.
Didn't you get my email?
Oh yeah. I stopped reading as soon as I saw the word museum.
Spanner teleports in, glad to see a mysterious orb. Kai directs everyone to the orb Apunapunku, the first artifact she and her grandfather found together. Pro tip, Ben, don't insult the place your date took you to. Before the tour group reaches the orb, it's stolen by an alien named Subdora, who has the power to turn invisible. Ben transforms into Wildmud to track her down, but Subdora gets the upper hand. Soon, Ben is saved by Spanner. Subdora escapes, but Ben gets the orb back for Kai. Kai wants Ben and Rook to stay at the museum overnight just in case there's more trouble. Ben is annoyed, but Spanner tells Ben to be nicer to Kai, insisting that they're meant to be together. Using that expression from now on.
Shouldn't you be a little, I don't know, nicer to Kai?
Nicer? Dude, I've known her since I was 10.
Subdora sneaks in, but she's revealed when Ben accidentally covers her in cheese puff dust. She snags the orb and runs off. Rook, Spanner, and Esther give chase while Kai and Ben are trapped in the secure room. Esther retrieves the orb, and they go back to the museum again. Kai and Ben are bickering again. Spanner insists they stop fighting, saying he's from the future where they're together. Esther is none too pleased about this. But before the situation can be resolved, Exoskull crashes into the museum, wanting the orb. Ben fights him as Shock Squatch and then Gravitek, but the bad guys still escape, having stolen an artifact from inside the orb. Kai is devastated, and Ben tries to comfort her. Spanner snags the empty orb and returns to the future, returning the artifact to Kai and Ben 10,000. To wrap up Season 7, we've got another two-parter titled It's a Mad, Mad, Mad Ben World. Ben is prepping for a video game marathon when he's interrupted by Ben 23, who is sent to this dimension for mentorship, aka smoothies and video games. I'm sure they ate plenty of fruits and vegetables too. Ben's Omnitrix beeps. It's Rook, who needs help stopping a robbery by Subdora and Exoskull. Ben Prime fights Subdora as Goop, but she knows his weakness and escapes with Exoskull. Subdora and Exoskull deliver their parts to Maltruant and Dr. Psychobos. The heroes arrive with the Bens fighting the bad guys as the Worst and Toolbox. Toolbox launches the Worst at Exoskull, causing a huge explosion. The Bens wake up only to find their surroundings are destroyed. Not the time, Ben 23. Ben and Ben 23 as Molstache and Nighty Night fly into town, finding Mad Harangue leading a team of miners. The drill is about to fall on the workers, but it's stopped by the Bens as Mr. Monkey and Bullfrag. Ben demands to know who their boss is. Turns out it's Mad Ben, who transforms into Diamond Head and traps both Ben and Ben 23. Maltruant congratulates Diamond Head, and Ben figures out what key he's looking for. He turns into Clockwork, forcing Mad Ben into his ordinary self and freezing him in place. Ben 23 turns into Techno Bubble, merging with Clockwork. So much better than video games. The Bens find the key, but Exoskull attacks, enabling the others to deliver it to Maltruant, restoring him to full power. Full-powered Maltruant defeats Techno-Bubbled Clockwork with ease and disables their Omnitrixies. Maltruant says he plans to restart the Time War and gives Mad Ben permission to do whatever he wants to the other Bens. The second part of It's a Mad, Mad, Mad Ben World begins with Ben and Ben 23 chained to Dr. Psychobos while Mad Rook forces them to work under Warlord Ben's orders. Both of the Ben's Omnitrixies are still frozen. Dr. Psychobos, who hates this job, says he can fix them if they can escape. While Ben bickers with Mad Rook, Psychobos steals a set of keys to a nearby truck. That night, the unlikely trio makes a run for it and finds shelter in a busted-up Mr. Smoothie. By the next morning, the doc says he has fixed the Omnitrixies. Except minor detail, now Ben's Omnitrix transforms Ben 23 and vice versa. Oh good, this will be great for their dynamic. Back at the digging site, the Bens transform into Freeze Ghost and Eye Guy, and a fight breaks out. They freeze Mad Rook and his army. After finding a dehydrated worker, the Bens turn into Blocks and Handyman, busting open the water tower to let the workers drink. The Bens free the workers before Mad Ben appears. Mad Ben turns into NRG, blasting the workers rebelling against him. The Bens transform into Wrath and Lightning Bolt before fighting Mad Ben as Waybig. Ben 23 turns Ben into Nanomech, who flies inside Waybig, blasting him from the inside, ending in his defeat. You don't get to have slaves and complain about cheating, Mad Ben. Mad Rook has had a change of heart and locks up Mad Ben's Power Watch, saying he's unfit to rule this world. The workers are freed, and the Bens are ready to go home. But Dr. Psychobos messed with the Omnitrixies, turning them into time bombs so he could rule the place. The Bens transform into Gray Matter and Brain Frog, stopping the explosion. Mad Rook and the workers arrest Mad Ben and Dr. Psychobos. The Bens try to leave, but they're stuck. Luckily, normal Rook and Professor Hoakstar's dimension-traveling Mr. Smoothie materialize, and everyone is able to return to their respective homes. Kicking off, the final season of Ben 10 Omniverse is an episode titled Let's Do the Time War Again. Rook and Ben get into a car accident in Undertown, and by accident, I mean Exoskull bashes through the side of their truck and into the wall behind them, revealing a bunch of Time Beast eggs. A fight breaks out between Ben as feedback, Rook, Exoskull, and Subdora. Our heroes win the fight, but a Time Beast appears, destroying much of Undertown before heading to the surface. Feedback and the Time Beast blast each other, freezing Bellwood in time. Worst game of freeze tag ever. Professor Paradox and Ben 10,000 arrive on the scene and reverse time to a few minutes before the crash. Eon is speaking with Exoskull and Subdora, planning to steal the Time Beast eggs. After Ben and Rook accidentally intervene, Eon hatched one of the eggs to turn into a full-grown Time Beast. Ben 10,000 and Paradox teleport in, sending Ben and Rook to the surface after the Time Beast. Meanwhile, Ben 10,000 transforms into Crash Shocker to fight the criminals with Paradox. Eon flees while his lackeys are unconscious. On the surface, Gravitak and Skurd create the Block Slobber, shooting the beast. But this initiates a chain reaction that destroys the city. You're lucky that your friends are pros at time travel, Ben. The gang travels back in time again, right before the car accident. Time travel is very confusing, so I'll just say everyone fights everyone. Thank you. Eon escapes with 2 eggs and his criminal lackeys, but the heroes manage to capture the Time Beast. Paradox takes the past Ben and Rook back in time to close the loop, and Eon delivers the Time Beast eggs to Mount Truan. Rook is stuck on the graveyard shift at Plumber HQ, while Ben and Max are having a grand old time fighting Yetta, who robbed a bank. Rook whines about the tedious job, but then the power goes out. Uh-oh. Rook tries to investigate what's going on, but soon the base is put into lockdown. Double uh-oh. The culprit is Cyborg Kundo, who plans to purge their tech and destroy them all. Since Max and Ben are locked out of the base, Rook reluctantly accepts Festina's help. Reluctantly, not because she's a criminal, but because she's super in love with Rook. I don't know. Fighting evil space cyborgs together is a good first date in my book, Rook.
Truthfully, this duty is unusually boring. And sometimes disturbing.
With the help of the Plumber B team, Rook, Festina, and Roebucket make it to the base's central control. A fight breaks out. For a moment, it seems like Kundo is defeated, but he laughs creepily, so it seems like he's still got a plan. Outside, the wires of the base stick out of the ground and shoot an electric beam into the sky. Kundo says he's infected the base with self-destructing viruses and plans to destroy all of the Plumber bases throughout the galaxy. Something tells me he was rejected from the Plumber Academy. Kundo and Rook duke it out with Festina's help. Soon, Ben arrives, transforming into Upgrade to stop the virus upload, but the core is already infected. There's no time to evacuate Bellwood, so the team sends Plumber HQ into space, where it explodes.
So, it's a spaceship.
Yep.
That's right. All Plumber bases are designed to operate from orbit.
Kundo is arrested and sent to a faraway planet to live in solitude. Max promotes Rook for his hard work and tells Festina that she can attend the Plumber Academy after she serves her time. Festina is thrilled at the prospect of spending more time with Rook in the future. Aw, Rook, just think of it as something to look forward to. Next up is an episode titled Malgax Attacks. Ben is playing a video game, very annoyed with Skird for making him lose. After Bluekick and Dryba are unsuccessful in removing Skird, the trio heads to Galvin Prime to get help from Azimuth. And good thing that's where they're headed, because Albedo and
Vilgax
are on the planet and have stolen Malware's remains, so they're probably up to no good. Azimuth is able to remove Skird with ease, placing him in a container for further examination. Lully tells Azimuth that Malware is missing. Soon,
Vilgax
sends out the attack mechadroids to attack the base. Okay, gonna need a plan B. Ben transforms the Ghost Freak to fight the mechadroids.
Vilgax
Then Albedo in his ultimate form appear, informing the heroes that they plan to conquer Galvin with the help of Malware's remains, which they have remade into battle armor.
Vilgax
Demands that Ben hand over the Omnitrix. Ben turns into Diamond Head to fight Malware-powered
Vilgax,
but he's punched all the way to Galvin B. Ben tries again, fighting him as Atomics, but he's still underpowered. Meanwhile, Bluekick, Dryba, and Lully do their best to take on Albedo as Ultimate Spider Monkey and Ultimate Wrath in Azimuth's slab. Ultimate Wrath shoots Azimuth with a laser, and he seems to be vaporized. Luckily, Bluekick and Dryba put their heads together and are able to rematerialize him. They aren't the brightest, Azimuth be happy they figured it out at all.
I'd rethink the situation.
Azimuth disables Albedo's Ultimatrix, trapping him in his 11-year-old body forever. Talk about a punishment. Ben tries fighting as Vampire, still unable to defeat Malware-powered
Vilgax.
Vampire contacts Azimuth for help, saying he needs Skird to reattach to the Omnitrix. Lully flies Skird to
Vilgax's
ship, enabling him to rebond with the Omnitrix. Ben, as Vampire, uses Armadillo's arm, blocks his cannons, and feedbacks Plug Hands to absorb
Vilgax's
energy blasts, and Ben is able to throw him into the ship's warp core, destroying him. The ship is about to blow, but Ben gets everyone out with Gravitack. At the end of the episode,
Vilgax
is petrified, and Albedo is on planet-wide cleanup duty. The next episode is called The End of an Era. It begins 20 years later in an alternative future starring Ben 10,000 and Kai, who are having a retirement party for Grandpa Max. But first, they gotta take down Dr. Animo, who is trying yet again to build an army of mutants. Luckily, Animo is stopped by Spanner, who is finally revealed to be Kai and Ben 10,000's son, Ken Tennyson. But Ken is hiding his superhero identity from his parents. The family and Animo head to Plumber HQ for the party. Rook is taking over Max's job and Kevin is taking over Rook's job. But hush everyone, hush, the president of Earth is arriving. Argit is president? What a nightmare.
Greetings. Come on, you guys. Granted, I am the most powerful man on the planet, but I'm still the same old Argit.
Meanwhile, Subdora is sneaking around the base, getting orders from Mount Truan and Exo Skull. Soon, the power goes out due to a solar flare. Subdora takes this opportunity to enter a vault and steal the Annihilarg before hiding herself. Gwendolyn senses Maltruance's presence on top of the base and knowing he's looking for the Dwarf Star. Ken and Rook lead everyone to the hangar deck. Exo Skull crashes in, taking the dwarf skull that Argit is wearing around his neck and enhancing his power. Outside, Maltruan confronts Kai, Ben 10,000, and Gwendolyn. Ben 10,000 transforms into Atomic X and blasts the villain. But Maltruan still has the upper hand. Spanner shows up, accidentally calling Ben 10,000 Dad, and accidentally blowing his cover. The fight continues. Ben 10,000, Kai, and Gwendolyn are trapped in time by Maltruan, and for a moment, all is lost. Until Ken appears with present-day Ben and Rook on their time cycles.
Time's up, Maltruant!
Somehow I remember your clips being better.
No, they're always this bad.
Yeah, Ben, you could have spent a little more time on that one. Maltruan, Exo Skull, and Subdora fight Ben's group, with Ben fighting as Vampire with Diamond Head armor. Thanks, Skird. Maltruan continues to work on the Annihilarg and the Dwarf Star. He freezes Spanner before forcing Ben and Rook to stand down. Eon appears through a portal with a time beast. Maltruan escapes, sending Eon back to his own time. The series finale of Ben 10 Omniverse is titled A New Dawn. It begins where the last episode left off, with Maltruan fleeing the battle with a time beast. Professor Paradox appears, telling Ben and Rook to follow Maltruan using the time cycles. But as usual, Ben is a little bit reckless. You'd think so, but they're immediately approached by George Washington. So they're probably in the wrong place. Fortunately, Washington is an organization that predates the Plumbers, so he's not terrified. Maltruan also falls into this timeline and sends out a distress signal. A zombified Redcoat appears, and Ben transforms into Ghost Freak to fight it with the president. They take down the zombie and Washington cures him.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Hey!
Rook determines that they're in the year 1773, right before the Revolutionary War. An alien ship piloted by a young
Vilgax
crashes into the planet. To help Mao Truan and the heroes go to investigate. POTUS rushes into battle with
Vilgax,
guns blazing. Ben joins the fight as XLR8, and then Molestache. Rook arrives with the time cycles, and he and Ben follow Mao Truan again before landing on a Contumelia ship. Ben and Rook make their way to the ship's controls, which is piloted by 3 Mr. Smoothies? Ben doesn't love anything more than smoothies. That makes sense. Rook is suspicious of the Contumelia, having heard stories of them destroying universes. Ben pieces together that Mao Truan wants to create a universe of his own design using the Annihilarg. The Mr. Smoothies teleport Ben and Rook to the chamber where Mao Truan is, and a fight breaks out. Ben turns into Chromastone but can't break the protective barrier around the Annihilarg. Just as Chromastone breaks through, the device falls through a hatch, forming a black hole and releasing a huge explosion of energy. For a moment, it seems as if Ben is killed, but he captures the energy as feedback before cycling through nearly all of his alien transformations, before destroying Mao Truan and the Annihilarg. Skurd is reunited with his ancestors. Professor Paradox teleports in, congratulating Ben. He invites Ben and Rook to help him hide Mao Truan's parts across the galaxy before the partners head back to their home universe. Ben is kind of bored, having just witnessed the creation of a new universe. I mean, yeah, how do you beat that? Ben proposes a road trip, calling Gwen to invite her and Kevin on a tour of the new universe. Something tells me that even in the new universe, they'll find plenty of bad guys to take down. And that was the entire story of Ben 10 Omniverse. Let me know your thoughts on this version of the series in the comments below. See you next time.